Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the videos. Another paid request this time from my good friend Efree. It's one of three. Thank you so much for that, my friend. Really appreciate it. And for those interested in requesting any other type of videos, whether it be a tier list, or a review, a re-review, reaction, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for Eye of the Eagle from 1987. One of Robert Patrick's first films. And really to call this Robert Patrick Goes Rambo. Because especially by the end, there's a bit that just will remind you of Rambo. In particular, First Blood Part 2. Or Rambo 3. Now, technically the lead is this guy named Brett Clark. But Robert Patrick does have quite a bit to do. And it's one of those films that was shot in the Philippines. I want to say it was Cirio Santiago. This is a guy that shot a lot of films in the Philippines, a lot of low-budget films, but the Philippines, number one, they had the locations that make it really seem like Vietnam. So they definitely had the locations to showcase that. And number two, the stunt people were willing to do whatever. Fall off bridges into the water when it's so damn high. Fall down any way they want, take his whatever squibs you give them. Any money was fine with them, so they're willing to do whatever they can to help the movies. So a lot of these movies, you have a lot of action, and that's really what this is. It's a low budget film, but you want to see a movie where a good chunk of it is just people getting shot, and the good guys shooting the bad guys, and so on and so forth. This is one of those movies. You know, someone would say quantity over quality. It may not be quality like John Woo or other films, but you do get a lot of it. So in a way, you still get your bang for your buck. I mean, compared to, like, the last film I saw before this was a Bruce Willis Detective Night Road movie, where you see him a lot of aphasia and not much happens. The action isn't much. There's not much action. This one's a lot more enjoyable, less depressing. And the setup is you have these three guys who are our leads. Brett Clark, Robert Patrick, and this third guy. And the bad guys are American soldiers, which is not typical for a Vietnam War, type of movie. But they're deserters that are looting and killing army bases, and they're known as the Lost Command, which is actually kind of a cool idea. But granted, I don't know where the fuck they're going to spend all this money. Do they expect to go back to the U.S. and not be caught? Or they don't go to other countries? Or they just don't live in some fucking place of the jungle and do an Apocalypse Now, Colonel Kurtz, give worship? I don't know, but that's what they're doing. I mean, the very first scene of the movie, you see a soldier getting shot. So, I mean, there's action from the beginning, and our three leads are killing some bad guys. Not the Lost Command, but some other bad guys. Robert and company kill a bunch of them. And it cuts to, like, them doing target practice. And the thing with Brett Clark's character, who's the lead, is he doesn't miss. So there's all these targets, like there's three here, then three behind, then more three behind, and more three behind. And whoever, does the worst has to buy the beer. As Robert Patrick's looking at him, as oh, you missed. And the lead's like, you kidding me? Yeah, I am. Okay, I'm buying. So it was nice to see Robert Patrick in an early role. I'm a big fan of Robert Patrick as an actor. That's really one of the... If you don't care about him, you're probably not going to care about the movie. But because I liked him as an actor, I really enjoyed him as Agent Doggett on The X-Files. I enjoyed him in, of course, the T-1000, Terminator 2, Fire in the Sky, Copland. He's in this really good PM Entertainment action film called Zero Tolerance, which highly recommend that one. I said always enjoyed him. Even enjoyed him in this video game he voiced called The Dig. which Steven Spielberg was a part of that video game. So I liked him as an actor. He plays Corporal Johnny Ransom in this. And it was nice to see his beginnings. And you know what? For beginnings, there's a lot of people that have had worse beginnings. I mean, Adam Sandler did Going Overboard. And Arnold Schwarzenegger did Hercules in New York. So, I mean, I'll take this over those any day and Twice on Thursday. So, there's not a lot of depth or character work, nothing of that. It's mainly just full-blown action. They're tasked to take down this train. They get on the train. They kill more bad guys. The people that are supposed to help them, they get pinned down, run back to the helicopter so the train can't be stopped. So they kill the person they're supposed to, but then they jump off and they get in these motorcycles, and Robert Patrick's in the sidecar shooting people getting blood squibs in the face. Definitely a high body count. But nothing like Rambo 4 gory stuff, but you have a little bit in there. This way it would have been nice to see a bit more, if they put a bit more blood budget into blood, gore, crazy critical hits where maybe someone's hand gets blown off or an arm gets blown off, even if it's cheaper practical effects, or maybe bigger, bloodier squibs, or someone's arm gets cut off. Like, it would have been nice if you had that bit of variety. Just a lot of people getting shot, falling in different ways. But it's also a reminder of how even films like this were still a fun charm and entertain. At least to me. I mean, you do call it trash, but I find it fun trash. Like, this is one of those movies that's easy for me to watch. With a can of Mel Yellow, sitting back, and I see guys being guys, going to strip clubs with beautiful naked women, and there's always going to be a bar fight, and it happens. So, because the guy's fucking with our three leads, and Robert Patrick goes up to one guy and goes, "It means you're chicken shit." So these assholes started, and the three guys get into a fight in the strip club bar. So again, it'll either go with our three guys doing stuff, or the bad guys, the army deserters, looting and killing. Because, I mean, that's how it begins. It begins with our three leads doing a mission, leaving, and then the army deserters, the lost command, looting and killing an army base and leaving. And you get some explosions. A lot of times there's extras standing near explosions just flying off. I mean, you think of, like, there's a lot of possible dangers in doing films like this, and they just didn't care. Just fucking run. And, you know, Robert Patrick and you guys are running. There's explosions around you. Just back then, that was typical. Nowadays, it seems much more impressive because they just don't do that stuff anymore. Whether they're being careful or you deem it too careful, however you want to put it. And it was cool that even, you know, early into this career, Robert Patrick being a badass. At one point, sliding down with a 6-shooter and shooting a bad guy, or later on when he does fully go Rambo, which I'll get to that. A female journalist is in the jungle, and she's with a guide or so, and she finds the lost command and taking pictures of them, so they chase after her, they get the film, and they chase her right into a damn village, and these bad guys don't care. They start wiping out the damn village. And then thankfully Robert Patrick and the group are there, so they start fighting back. And they save the journalist. I'm also glad they didn't make the female journalist like a love story. They didn't pull a love story. They didn't push that in there. No time for love, Dr. Jones. So that's refreshing. There's a lot of times they do try to force it. They don't. But I find it funny that Brett Clark is the lead. Like, of the characters, he's the one given a semblance of a backstory where there's a flashback that the leader of the Lost Command actually caused the death of our lead character's brother. Because the guy was doing something, and the lead guy's brother was a MP, military police. Don't go near us. Shot the guy. Our guys went after the bad guy, but he got away. So the lead character has a personal grudge against the leader of the Lost Command. So they make him out to be this is the lead character, but Robert Patrick gets like more of the shine on the finale, which is great for me because he's the actor that I like more than anybody else. Because Robert Patrick, spoiler alert, again the spoilers. It's a low budget Vietnam movie with a lot of action, a lot of people getting shot. Nothing glorious in terms of choreography or no like John Woo spectacle, but there's explosions, there's chases on motorcycles, things of that nature. But if you want to see Robert Patrick in an early action film, and you get to see a bit of Rambo in the finale from him, it's fun to watch to see where Robert Patrick came from. And like I say, this is my type of movie. A lot of people, if they're really into slasher films, if it has a couple things that just hit them, boom, this is me. This is my kind of movie. If you give me I'm an action film fan. It's my favorite genre, action film junkie. If you give me a movie where it's like 70% is shooting, and you give me at least an actor/character I like and can root for. It's like Enter the Game of Death. Is that technically a good movie? No, as in there's no story, but I like Bruce Lee, the Bruceploitation guy. He kicks a lot of ass. He also has some weird, eccentric stuff in it. Sometimes I'm an easy guy. Just give me what I want and I'll go away. Just give me what I want and I'm okay. There's a lot of other things you did nitpick on it, but you give me what you want, and I guess I could be lenient. So again, the spoilers. The spoilers matter. Fuck it though. Robert Patrick and the third of the three leads, they go on a mission. They get attacked. The third guy gets shot up. He dies in critical care while Robert Patrick gets caught. And they tie him to a damn cannon. Now, I can't remember why they're doing it. I guess to get information or something else. But they tie him into a cannon. They beat on him for a bit. While the bad guys talk to Robert Patrick. They're going back and forth. Like I said, I can't remember why they taught Robert Patrick. Like, why they tied him up to a cannon. But they did. Meanwhile, the lead guy talks with the photographer, the journalist. And she knows where they're at because she took photos of them. Right, you would think by this time they would have moved to a very different location, but oh well. She leads our lead to get there. The lead is able to get Robert Patrick out. The lead has this heavy machine gun that gives the Robert Patrick, and either it's the airstrike of the good guys wiping out bad guys, or is Robert Patrick. Like, Robert Patrick has more shine at the finale than the lead guy. The lead guy, kills, I don't know, a couple guys, maybe, can't remember, 3 or more. But Robert Patrick, he gets the Rambo, he's mowing down, he gets on these steps, gets in the trees, it just, I'm like, all right. If you ever see, it's always nice to see an actor you like, action star, whatever, get the Rambo moment. When I think of the Rambo moment, I'm thinking like when Rambo First Blood Part 2, when Stallone gets off the helicopter and he gets the M60, or Dolph Lundgren and Red Scorpion. He gets that badass machine gun. It's like, and he turns, he blows up the fucking helicopter, tears it apart. Chuck Norris missing in action when he comes out of the water. Or I see Jean-Claude Van Damme and Hard Target, and he just the two, and kicks a guy in the face, and then this is Robert Patrick in his moment. I'm like, okay, it's funny that again the lead guy. You would think, okay, if that's the lead, he would get that moment to shine. They would give him the Rambo moment, because that's going to be the grandiose moment of the movie. But no, it's Robert Patrick. So it's like, yeah, this guy's the lead, but they knew Robert Patrick. It's almost as if in the middle they knew Robert Patrick he had a bit more of that it factor. So while Brett Clark is the number one on the call sheet, let's watch this Robert Patrick guy. There's something about him. Something about him. And they were right. And the lead guy finds the bad guy, and I don't know what he fucking has. It's like it's a knife, but he opens it and it's like curved. So and that's not a boomerang because it doesn't come back, but he throws it like like a frisbee or something. I don't know what it is. It's like a knife, but it's a knife, but it's curved like a scalpel. But it's like big and it's black. So she said. I didn't know what the hell exactly that weapon was. Obviously, it's a blade of some type, but because he uses the lead guy uses it as a target practice before he goes in the rest of Robert Patrick. And when he throws it, you kind of see this thing kind of slide, boom, right into the target practice. I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? But and then everything's hunky-dory. Robert Patrick and Brett Clark, they're gonna talk about, we'll buy some beers while the photographer's taking pictures, and the movie's over. So it's one of those films that it depends how much you're asking for it. For me, I'm like, okay, it's Robert Patrick. It's a low-budget action film. It gave me a lot of body count squibs where people get shot up. Robert Patrick is given stuff to do. He's not sidelined. He's not given nothing to do with twiddling his thumbs. And the movie's pretty fast enough pace. There's not a lot of time to dawdle on drama, which is best because the drama's not working. Because it's nothing, in depth of a story. But like I said, it reminded me of the simpler, fun times. People go in this for action. If we can't give them the drama and characters that would work well and benefit, give them the bang for your buck. That's what we do for our low budget. And sometimes simple is effective. Not shitty CGI or shitty CGI blood and squibs. Or, okay, you want to be dramatic, you better do it well. But a lot of times these movies try to do that and they don't do it well. Because the acting or the writing or stuff isn't up to par. And they try to do that because it's simpler for words than squibs. It's cheaper to have people talk in a room than have an action scene with explosion stuff. And it's like, well, we live in the Philippines and we could blow up anything we want. We could blow up any fucking part of the jungle we want. We got the whole jungle as our backdrop. And these stunt guys, you pay them $2 and a, I don't know, bottled Gatorade or something, and they'll do whatever the fuck you want. Give them $2 in Gatorade, they'll jump off that cliff head first. Don't matter. So yeah, like I said, you get chases on motorcycles, you get on trains, you get explosions everywhere, airstrikes, and Robert Patrick being Rambo with a big heavy machine gun. The T-1000 goes Rambo. Maybe that's how Tyler remember. T-1000 goes Rambo. Or Robert Patrick. Maybe Robert Patrick goes Rambo. So, what can you say? I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It was an easy watch. Sadly, you can only find it on VHS quality. I don't think it's ever gotten a DVD or Blu-ray release. I've seen a lot of worse films get that type of release, like Vinegar Syndrome. Come on now. I mean, what was that? The Star Crystal wasn't Vinegar Syndrome, but that movie where a orange goober of an alien killed people, read a Bible on the computer, and became a alien Jehovah's Witness, and then started talking and apologized for killing. I apologize, I murdered most of your crew, but that was before I read your Bible on the computer. And then the last two give the alien a ship, and then Daphne from Scooby-Doo sings a song, Whisper from a Star, Crystal from a Star, whatever the fuck it is. That got a Blu-ray and cleaned up. And this was a hell lot better than that piece of shit. So, come on. If there was a cleaned up version of Eye of the Eagle, I would buy on Blu-ray. But yeah. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.